Hi, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. This is Sir M and gagawa naman po tayo ng video about frequency distribution table or how to organize data using the frequency distribution table. So, first, let's define the frequency distribution. So, frequency distribution is a way of presenting and organizing the data collected in tabular form using classes and frequencies. So the most convenient method of organizing data is construct a frequency distribution in order to describe situations, draw conclusions, or make inferences about events. So the researchers must organize the data in some meaningful way. So, di ba, mas better kung yung na-collect natin data is i-organize po natin, especially using the frequency distribution table. So we have two types of frequency distribution. So the ungrouped and group frequency distribution. So when we say ungrouped frequency distribution, classifies a given data sets under a specific category or class. So usually po, our n or the sample size is less than or equal to 20. So this is for the ungrouped frequency distribution. And then, sa group frequency distribution, so meron pong interval. So having an interval or ratio level data beyond sample size 30. So more than 30 na po yung number of data points po natin dito. Kaya meron po silang interval na. Okay? So sa ungroup, so frequencies of each data is treated as individual data or as discrete data. Okay? So individual po yung data dito sa ungroup frequency distribution. And then sa group frequency distribution, so frequencies of each data point are clustered in a specific class interval. So clustered. So when we say clustered po is nakagroup po yung data points po natin. Bakit? Kasi po is yung sample size is malaki na, di ba? So more than 30. Sometimes it is 50 or more than pa. Okay? So this is the example of ungroup and group frequency distribution. Dito sa ungroup, yung data points po natin is individual. Then, dito po sa group frequency distribution is meron pong interval. So, ayan po. So, let's have an example sa ungroup frequency distribution. So, 25 students of ABC College were given a blood test to determine their blood type. So, the data set is as follows. So, for example is, ito na po yung na-collect natin na data from 25 students. Ito po yung mga blood type nila. Ano po natin? I-organize po natin siya using the frequency distribution table. So, ayan. So, ano gagawin? Next is magtatali tayo. So, paano ba yung pagtali? So, ganito po. So, record po natin yung mga data points, yung mga nasa first row muna, by row tayo. So, yung mga na-record mo na is lagyan mo ng mark. So, for example, ito po, A, tali sa B, saan siya? Dito, O, dito, A, dito, AB, saan siya? AB, AB po is dito. Continue, AB, dito, O, dito. Okay? So, continue mo lang po yan. And then, ang kalabasan is, ito po, yung table po natin. Okay? Ito na po yung natali natin dito sa 25 data points po natin. Okay? After mo matali, so, the frequency. So, ilan yung natali natin dito? 6. O, kaya 6 po to. Ito, sa blood type B, 6 din. Blood type O, 9. Blood type AB, 4. So, dapat, ang total po nito, ang sample size natin is 25. So, 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 9 is 15. So, 10 plus 15 is 25. So, tama po to. So, ito na po yung table po natin. Or na-organize na po natin itong na-collect natin na data. So, we all know that we have 6 students na mayroong blood type A, 6 students na mayroong blood type B, and 9 students na mayroong blood type O, and 4 students na blood type AB. So, ganyan lang po, madali. Next is, following are the basic terminologies to frequency distribution. Okay, so ito po yung sa group frequency distribution naman, yung mga terms. So we have the lower class limit and upper class limit. So ano ba to? So when we say lower class limit, it is the smallest data value that can be included in the class. Ito po yung pinaka maliit, lower class limit or the lower limit. And upper class limit naman, it is the largest data value that can be included in the class. Okay? Yung pinaka malaki. So, for example, is meron tayo ditong, ayan, class interval. So, ito, so we have 4 classes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 classes. Okay, so when we say lower class limit or lower limit po, is yan po yung smallest data value in the class. So for example, ito sa first class natin, smallest data is 16. So ito po yung lower limit po natin or lower class limit. So next is ito, 21, the lower limit, 26, lower class limit, 31, the lower class limit or the lower limit. So ayan po. So madali lang naman siya ma-identify. And next is the upper class limit. So it is the largest data value that can be included in the class. So yung pinakamalaking value in a class. So, it means 20 po yung upper class limit sa first class natin. 25 yung upper class limit sa second class. 30 yung upper limit sa third class. And sa fourth class natin is 35 po yung upper class limit. So, ganyan lang po kadali. So, next is the class width. So, ano ba tong class width? It is the difference between two consecutive lower limits or upper limits po. Okay? Difference. Anong operation to? This is subtraction. So, difference daw ng two consecutive lower limits. So, when we say consecutive is magkasunudan po. Okay? Let's try the example 16 and 21. So, 21 minus 16 is ilan? That is 5. So, 5 po yung class width dito sa table natin. Yes? Yan. Next, class boundaries. So, it is used to separate the classes so that there are no gaps in the frequency distribution. Okay, so sobrang dali lang naman ang paggawa ng class boundaries, the lower class boundaries and upper class boundaries. And then, kapag gagawa ka ng class boundaries, ang lagi mong titingnan is the lower limit and upper limit. Okay? So, sa lower class boundary, titingnan mo is the lower limit. So, ayan. Magsusubtract ka lang po ng 0.5 sa lower limit para mahanap mo yung lower class boundary. And then, sa upper class boundary naman, ang titingnan mo is the upper class limit. Ano gagawin? Mag-add ka lang po ng 0.5. For example, ito po ay 16, the lower limit sa first class. So, if this is 16, so magsusubtract tayo ng 0.5. So, the lower class boundary is 15.5. And then, the upper class limit is 20. So, mag-add tayo ng 0.5. That will be 20.5. So, ito po yan. Okay? That is the class boundaries sa interval na to. Yan, sobrang dali. Next is the class mark. So, when we say class mark, it is the midpoint of the classes or the average of the upper limit and the lower limit po. And then, to determine the class mark, is eto lang po, lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Para malaman mo po yung class mark. For example, ang class mark natong first class natin, 16 plus 20, 36. Okay, so divide by 2, that is 18. So, class mark po netong first class natin is 18. So, ganyan lang po kadali. Next is steps in constructing a frequency distribution table. So, ito po yung mga steps na kailangan sundin sa pag-construct ng frequency distribution table sa group data. So, step 1 is find the range. So, hanapin mo muna yung highest value and the lowest value. So, to find the range, highest value minus lowest value. Sobrang dali. Next, step 2, determine the number of classes. So, usually po, yung number of classes is 5 to 20. And sometimes, hindi mo na kailangang hanapin pa yung or isolve pa yung number of classes. Kasi, sometimes, nasa problem na po siya. Okay? So, sinasabi na doon kung ilan ba yung number of classes yung gagamitin. But, if hindi po, or walang nakalagay kung what number of classes yung gagamitin sa pag-construct ng frequency distribution table, so ito po yung guide natin. 2 raised to k is greater than or equal to n. So ano ba itong n? This is our sample size or the total number of our raw scores. Ano man itong k? K is unknown number or na pwede maging value po natin ng number of classes. Okay, so step 3, meron na tayong range and number of classes. So calculate the class width. So paano? Divide the range by the number of classes. So, ito po yung formula in finding the class width. Range divided by number of classes. So, yung range sa step 1, hinanap natin. Yung number of classes sa step 2 po natin hinanap. Okay? So, ayan. Step 4, determine the class limit. And step 5, determine the class boundaries, tally the scores and the frequency, and find their class mark. So, yan lang naman po yung steps in constructing a frequency distribution table. Okay, so let's have an example sa group frequency distribution. Ito po. Consider the final examination as scores of 40 students in general mathematics. Construct a frequency distribution table given the set of data using 6 classes. Ayan. Sundin natin yung steps in constructing a frequency distribution table. So, step 1 is find the lowest value and the highest value. So, tingnan na mabuti ano yung lowest value. Okay, so we have the 19. 19 is the lowest value. And what is the highest value? Highest value is, okay, 40. Okay, so perfect. So, 40 po yung highest. So, step 1, to find the range, highest value minus lowest value. Ayan. Kaya 40 minus 19 is 21. So, 21 po is yung range natin. Nahanap na po natin yung range. So, next, step 2, determine the number of classes. So, kung babasahin po ulit yung problem, so hindi mo na kailangang isolve pa yung number of classes. Kasi, nandiyan na sa problem kung ilan ba yung number of classes yung gagamitin, which is 6 classes po. Okay, so wala tayong problema sa step 2. So, step 3 is find the class width. So, di ba? So, to find the class width, range over number of classes, which is the range. The value of the range is 21, and number of classes is 6. 21 divided by 6 is equal to 3.5. Or round up, that is 4. So, ito na po yung class width natin. Sa step 4, gawa na po tayo ng table or the class interval. Okay? So, paano? Katandaan sa pag-construct is yung lowest value. What is our lowest value? Which is 19. Okay? So, ito na po yung class interval natin. So, ilagay dito, 19, the lowest value. So, yung next na gagawin? So, add ka dito ng 4. 19 plus 4 is 23. So, saan galing yung 4? So, yung 4 po is yung class width natin, di ba? So, this is 4. So, ganyan. And then, add ka ulit ng 4. 23 plus 4 is 27. Next, 27 plus 4 is 31. 31 plus 4 is 35. And 35 plus 4 is 39. So, stop ka na po dyan. Bakit? Kasi yung number of classes natin is 6 only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ayan. So if this is 23, so alam po natin na ito po ay 22. So sa yung first class po natin, so merong interval na 19 to 22. Second class, 23 to 26, 27 to 30, 31 to 34, 35 to 38, 39 to 42. So meron na po tayong lower limits and upper class limits. Okay? So ganyan. Next is paano ba yung class boundaries, di ba? Like I said kanina, sobrang dali ng paghanap ng class boundaries, the lower class boundaries and upper class boundaries. Sa lower class boundaries, ang titingnan is yung lower limits. Magsusubtract lang po tayo ng 0.5. So if this is 19 minus 0.5, so that is 18.5. And then, upper class boundaries, ang titingnan is the upper limit. So, if this is 22, mag-add tayo ng 0.5. So, 22 plus 0.5 is 22.5. So yung class boundary natin sa first class will be 18.5 to 22.5. So, ganito. Ayan na po yung class boundaries natin. Okay? Yan. Subtract ng 0.5 sa lower limit. Mag-add ng 0.5 sa upper limit. Next is tally. So, let's imagine na nakapag-tally na po tayo. Ito na yung natally natin. Okay? Yan. Next na gagawin is the frequency. So, yung natally natin dito, bilangin. This is 8. Ito, 8 din. Ito, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. So, 20. Tama. Ito ay 2, 1, 1. So, kailangan yung n po natin is 40. Kasi 40 students. Di ba? So, para natin malaman na 40, so add mo tong frequency. So, 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 20, 36 plus 2, 38 plus 1, 39 plus 1 is 40. So, tama po yung total number of frequency po natin. So, next is the class mark. So, class mark, paano mahanap? Lower limit plus upper limit and divide by 2. Okay? So, if this is 19, lower limit, upper limit is 22. 19 plus 22 is 41. Divided by 2 is 20.5. So, the class mark sa first class po natin is 20.5. And then, continue po hanggang sa last class natin. Find the class mark. And then, after nyo mahanap yung mga class mark, ito po yung kalabasan. So, ayan po. Okay? So, ito na po yung frequency distribution po, table po natin sa data na to. Okay? Or sa raw scores na to. Okay? So, ganyan lang po yung paggawa ng frequency distribution table. That's all.